are in listen-only mode.
Hello and a very good afternoon to the entire participant for today's webinar on TimeTec. My name is Juliana and I will be your trainer for today. During this course, if you have any questions during the class, you may raise your hand or raise your question during our interval between chapters. I will try my very best to answer each and every question posted. Okay, so let us begin with the introduction to TimeTec. TimeTec Cloud is FingerTec's attendance system to trailblaze our way into the future with cloud computing solutions. TimeTec Cloud works as Software as a Service, SaaS, which also means this service is available on cloud technology through the internet. Since it is a cloud-based solution, no software installation is necessary to use this software. Teaming up with the established provider, which is the Amazon Web Services, enables us to implement a stable yet cost-effective, secure and reliable server system. TimeTec Cloud offers Mobile TimeTec, which is a mobile solution for iOS and Android smartphone users. In order to prevent fake logins and lies from employees, our TimeTec tracks the whereabouts of the employees at the moment they log in using their mobile network and GPS locator. So what do you get from TimeTec? Managing and using the TimeTec is simple and easy. Administrator can manage employees by transferring the employees' data within the terminals via TimeTec, meaning that you have a user in branch A, which is in US, let's say, and then you have another branch in the United Arab Emirates. So you can just use the software to transfer their name without any hassle. For companies with multiple branches or outlets, the attendance from all branches can be downloaded and consolidated into TimeTec Cloud to provide an overview of the staff attendance. So since this is a cloud-based, you don't have to do VPN, you don't need for any port forwarding. Just enter the web IP address and then you are connected to the software. Administrator can upload the information of a relocated employee to relevant terminals at another branch in a matter of seconds using TimeTec. Okay, so let us log in and look how the TimeTec looks like. Okay, so this is the layout of the TimeTec. Let's look at the basic setting first. At the basic setting, which can be configured at the configuration tab, you can see the company profile, which you are allowed to enter various company profiles, but each company can only use one unique name. So just key in the information here and then click submit. Okay. At the system settings, you can set the format for TimeTec, such as time format, date format, hour format, etc. to your preference. So in the new update of TimeTec, you can see that we have included the system count. From here, you can see how many logins are still available for this TimeTec, because TimeTec is licensed by users. Okay, so in this case, you have used up 15 out of 42 terminal licenses, and you have already used up 15 out of 55 login licenses. Okay, so in this page also you can define which is the first day of the week, the currency symbol used, and also the preferred language for the software. So these are the few languages that we have, which is Spanish, Indonesian, Malay language, traditional Chinese, simplified Chinese, Thai language, Arab language, Vietnamese, and also German language. So Vietnamese and German language is the latest language that we add on this month. Okay, so these are the settings for the systems. Next, you can go to the company branch. For companies with multiple branches or outlets, you can set the name of each branch or outlet here. So click Add and key in the name of the company or branch. Once you have keyed in, click Submit and the name will appear in this page. You can also set how many rows to appear on the screen for easy viewing. So at the bottom here, you can click to show how many lines of records in each page. Can go up to a maximum of 200 lines per page. Okay, so to edit, you can just simply click the pencil icon here and change the name of the branch. If you need to delete it, just click on the recycle bin icon. Next, we'll look at the department. In each company, there are multiple departments such as finance, accounts, human resources, sales, and etc. For easier identification, you can add on the departments. Same way, just go to the Add button, key in the name of the department, and click Submit. So the name of the department will appear in this page. Okay, let's look at section. You can categorize a few sections under a department. For example, a sales department can be divided into domestic or international. So if there you need to separate it into section, just click the Add button, key in the name of the section. When you click Submit, again the name will appear in this section page. Okay. Next is the leave type. TimeTec offers 9 types of default leave types. You can add on the list of available leave type if necessary by clicking the Add button here. Type in the name of the leave, again click Submit, and it will appear in this page. Okay, so let's look at day type. This tab enables you to configure the day type and relevant wage calculation used in your company. So if you have double pay on rest day or off day, you can edit it by clicking the pencil icon here and change it to perhaps say 200%. Okay, once you submit, the changes will be reflected in this page. Next, let's look at remark or word code. Remark or word code is used to indicate the reason for the employee's absence or lateness in the office. Depending on the terminals, we have 2 modes of word code. So you have to refer to your hardware manual to check what are the modes that you have in your terminal. Okay, so to add a new word code, you just need to go to the Add button, key in the remark, for example, sales meeting, and then just key in any digits, 2 digits number or 3 digit number, up to your preference. Okay, so I'll just put 12 as sales meeting, so it will appear in this page. Okay, so next we will look at admin. In this tab, you can determine the administrator privilege for the system. However, in order to add admin in this page, you will need to add the users in the users tab first, which I will show you later on. Select only trustworthy personnel to assume the role of administrator. Next is change request approval. This is the page for system administrator or manager to approve or reject requests from the staff. For example, an employee forgets to punch out and can raise this change request approval to inform their superior that they have forgotten to punch. So as an administrator, you can choose to approve or reject their request. So this is still pending. Click on the pencil icon, and then you can choose to approve or reject this request. Okay, so it will be. So when you need click reject, you have to put a remark here. So I just put not sufficient data. You just click submit. Then the status will be shown as rejected. Okay, so a lot of things that you have to key in here. Social security number cannot be empty. So you just need to key in the social security number and then submit. And the status will be shown as rejected. Okay, so I did not change the social number, so it's still pending. Okay, once it is approved, you cannot change it anymore. But when it is still in pending stage, you can change it to approve or reject. Finally, in this step, there are wizards which you can use to guide you to use this software. There are 2 types of wizard. First is the setup wizard. So let's say if you're new to this software and you don't know what to do, you can use this wizard to guide you through the software. So initial setup, they will ask you to key in your company's address, the date format, the time format, and so on. So you just need to answer the questions, how many rows of data to be displayed, and so on. Once you are done with this page, you can click Save and Next. It will bring you to the next page, which is a terminal setup. So this is a wizard, which is also a quick guide through on how to use this software. Okay, and then we have another wizard, which is the migration wizard. So if you're using our previous software, which is the TCMS V2, you can migrate your data from TCMS V2 software to TimeTec Cloud account. You do not need to redo the clocking schedule setup, nor do you need to insert employee biodata into the TimeTec Cloud account. However, attendance data for the current year will be imported. So let's say you're in 2015 now, 2014 data will not be imported to TimeTec. It will only import the current year data. Okay, so let me just show you how to backup in TCMS. So let's say if you're using the TCMS software, let me just turn it on. The line seems to be very slow. Sorry about that. So let's come back to this later. Okay, so this is the import wizard, migration wizard, meaning that if you already have configured the TCMS V2 and you've been using it for quite a while, you do not want to reconfigure the clocking schedule, you can migrate it from TCMS V2. Okay, so this is for the basic setting. Let's look at managing devices. Before you add device, you need to go to the terminal group. You can assign terminals into different groups for easier management. By default, terminal group 1 is there. Okay, so by default there is one terminal group already in the software, and then you can keep on adding a new terminal group if necessary. Okay, just key in the terminal group number and the description, and it will appear here like number 2 to number 5. Okay, the reason that you need to add terminal group first is because when you go to FingerTec terminal, you will need to choose a group for it to be assigned to. So in this terminal group, you need to choose which terminal group to assign this terminal to. Okay, benefit of doing a group is that whenever you want to transfer employees or data to all the terminals in the same building, you can group them all together in the same building and just send the data with one click of a mouse button. You can send it to all terminals within this group. Okay, so this is the benefit of putting the terminal in a group. Okay, so adding terminals, click add here. So these are all the available terminals. So before you start, you need to add terminal. Just go to the add button. Okay, follow the terminal ID of your terminal. By default, all our terminals have the ID of number 1. So you need to change it if you have a few terminals. Okay, so let's say terminal ID number 100. Select the terminal group and key in the serial number. When the correct serial number is keyed in, the model will automatically appear on this page. If you did not see the model appearing, there will be some mistake in the settings. It might be the web IP is not set, the port is not correct, or the gateway is not set on the terminal. So these are the 3 things that you need to check. The web server IP, the web server port, and also the gateway must be set. Okay, so take note of these 3 things. Once these 3 things is set correctly, when you key in the serial number, you should be able to see the model appearing here. Okay, the product key and the activation key will be provided to you when you purchase TimeTec Cloud. Okay, so just key in the product ID and the activation key. And if you have a permanent license, you will see the word permanent appearing here on the expired date column. Okay, if you're using the trial key, you will see the expired date. I think it's about 3 months later. Okay, description you can key in based on your preference, and you can choose the time zone. Then make sure at the end, remember to enable this terminal before you click submit. Okay, once you click submit, the list of the terminal will appear in this page together with the product ID, the activation key, the time zone, and also the expiry date. Okay, so these are the few things that you need to check before you add the terminals. Okay, so this is my test account, so I do not have any terminal active. Let me log into another account which has some terminals there. So I'll show you the difference. Okay, once you have added the terminals, now you can upload, download, or delete the user from the software. Okay, so to upload employees into the terminal, select the terminal you want to upload users to by ticking the checkbox beside the terminal ID. Okay, let's say I want to upload these two terminals, upload user to these two terminals. So tick these two terminals, go to manage terminal on the right, and then select upload user. Okay, so it will load and then it will show you the list of user available that you can push it to these two terminals. Okay, so just select which user that you want to download, upload to the terminal, then click submit, and the user will be uploaded to the terminal selected. Okay, same goes to delete user, download user, everything is the same step. Okay, just take the terminal, click download user or delete user. Okay, download terminal data is for you to download the attendance log from the terminal in any case that your terminal data is missing from this software. By default, it is live and the data should be returning to the software almost immediately. Okay, so if let's say your data is missing, you can try to download the terminal data once again. Okay, clear terminal data is to delete all the data in the terminal. Be very careful when you choose this because if you do not have any backup and you delete the data from the terminal, you will not have any data left. Okay, you can also erase the user info from the terminal by selecting this option. Okay, next you can go to the download terminal info where you can check the status of your terminal here. Okay, confirm to get selected terminal info, click OK. The last connection column here displays the time of the terminal when it was last active. If the connection to the terminal is lost, you will see the duration when it was last active. So in this case, all terminals is still active because the last activity is about 1 minute and 26 seconds and so on. Okay, anything below 2 minutes means that connection is still fine. If you get something like this, 23 hours and 2 minutes, it means that this terminal is not communicating to the software for the last 23 hours. Okay, so when this happens, you might want to check on the connection of the terminal. Maybe the cable is loose and maybe power is off, so you have to check physically at the terminal. Okay, so if your connection is active, you can reboot the terminal from this software. Same thing, select which terminal that you want to reboot, go to manage terminal, and then select reboot terminal from the list of the options. Okay, so this is for the basic setting and for the terminal setting of the software. Any question that you would like to ask? So Mr. Purushottaman, you have a question?
Actually, I have a question in this.
Okay.
Clear terminal data. Okay, if I clear any data from the, if I use this clear terminal data,
okay,
what kind of data will lose in this?
So when you clear terminal data,
like,
the transaction log will be cleared. The transaction log of the terminal will be cleared. The users will still be in the terminal.
Okay, users will be there.
Yes.
What about the IP settings and network settings? Those will be cleared?
It will clear back to the default factory setting.
Okay. It goes to the factory default but except the user.
Sorry, come again?
It will go to the factory default except the user details.
Yes, it will back to factory default except for the user details.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, welcome. Mr. Ankur Patel, you have a question?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so I had a questions regarding the copy, the fingerprint template.
Okay.
So in case of a failure of any machine, so how can we have a copy from one terminal to another terminal?
You mean the software corrupt or is the terminal corrupted?
Yeah, the terminal got corrupt in case like some failure of power or something. So now to put a replacement unit instead of the current unit. Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't gone to that part. In the users tab, you can download the user and store it in the software. In any case that one of the terminal crashes, you can select the user and upload it back to the terminal. So you need to activate the new terminal first, and then you select the users to be uploaded back to the terminal.
Right. So we will have an option to select the employees, users, and then upload to the another terminal.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Okay, if there's no more question, let us proceed to the next step. Another question, Mr. Ankur Patel?
Yeah, the new release update, can we have a trial of this one?
Yes, for TimeTec, you can request for a trial. Before you log in, you can go to the register as reseller, and then you sign up there immediately. The system will send you an email and you can log in. So you can sign up here,
Okay, fine.
you just sign up, and then you can just apply for a 1-month trial.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, welcome. Okay, so let us log in again. So after this training, if you like a trial, you can always sign up for a 1-month trial. So the system will auto-generate the email to reply you immediately. And after you sign up, you can almost immediately log into the TimeTec Cloud after you receive the email and try out the software. Okay. So let's move to manage employees data. Users page is where the employee's bio data is listed. The main page displays the basic information of all employees and their verification data. For example, total number of fingerprints and face stored in the software. Okay, so this is the main page. So you can check how many fingerprints each user has and also whether they have access to the web login or mobile login. Okay, so there is no fingerprint for these users and there are 3 fingerprints for user number 1. So these are the things that you can see from the front page. Okay, you can select to view the employees by company or by branch, department, section or duty roster. Just click at the particular column and choose the category from the drop-down menu. So I would like to see the users in the Auto Trader Australia branch, and you can see this user is under this branch. Okay, so this is a filtering way of checking the data. In this page also, you can allow an employee to access TimeTec Cloud to check on their individual attendance record. You can also allow the employees to report their attendance via web login or mobile login by enabling the features here. Okay, so go to the add user. This is to add user manually one by one. You can add the photo of the user and key in the credentials that is marked with the asterisk sign. So these are all the information that you have to key in. The name, the issue date, the user ID, and also the duty group. Okay, so this is also where you allow whether the user will have web login or not, and also whether they have a mobile login or not. I will go into detail in web login and mobile login later on. Okay, so this is for you to add user one by one. And then you have this import button. You can also import the employee's details either in XLS or text file without having to manually create user one by one. Click at the import button and you can click on the sample to view. Okay, so you have to follow this sample to key in the data before you import it to the software so that the software will read it correctly. Okay, if you do not follow the format, you might be importing something different than what you key in. Okay, so you can choose either in the Excel format or also in the text format. These two formats is acceptable. Okay, so this is the format that you have to follow. First column is the number, user ID, employee name, and so on. So this is a sample that you can follow before you proceed to import the file. Okay, this is the delete button. To delete the user, you can select the user to be deleted by just checking the checkbox here and then click delete. So the browser will prompt you a confirmation window. Are you sure to delete before it proceeds to delete your user? Okay. Change here means that the system will not be able to display any attendance record if the record exists before the employee's issue date. For example, I'm adding one user today. Okay. So let me just show you example. Okay, so this is the user ID. And then let's say today I added this user. Today is the 1st of April. Okay, so 1st of April. I added this user on 1st of April, but this user has been using the terminal since the month of March. Okay, but if you put the issue date on 1st of April, his or her attendance for the month of March will not be able to be viewed by the software because of the issue date. It will take the attendance from the issue date and the future logins, but not the previous one. So in order to be able to see this user's attendance for the month of March, you will need to change his or her issue date. You can select here, change. Okay, so if you select all user, when you change the issue date to an earlier month, which is 1st of March, so all the issue date for all users here will be changed to 1st of March. Okay, so when you change the issue date, you will be able to see the previous record in the terminal. Then for the send password, in any case the employee forget his or her login password to the software, the system can send the new login password to them. The password will be sent to the employee's email and not the administrator email that you have key in when you create user. So for example, you need to key in the valid email address before you can use this function. Okay, so for this user, Miss Kylie, she has a valid email address which I have keyed in when I created this user. So when this happens, let's say she forget her login password, when you click this send new password, you select the user, you select send new password. This window will be prompted to confirm whether you want to send the email to the selected user. Okay, so when you click OK, email will be sent to Miss Kylie's account on the new password. So you will see this new password has been sent successfully. Okay, so also when you key in the valid email address, then you can go back to the configuration tab under the admin section. Okay, click add. This is where you allow the person to be admin of the software or to be the operator which they can log into. Okay, so I have keyed in Miss Kylie's email. So when you choose from the drop down button, you will see Miss Kylie's email from this list. But I have already set her as the admin here. Okay, so let me just delete and show you again. Okay, so I have a valid email address when I created the user. Now I want to add this person to be the admin of this software. Okay, so just go to click add, select the email from the drop down button, which is Kylie, and then key in your preferred password. Okay, so in this column privilege, when you choose operator, you can choose the rights for them, whether they have full right, which means that they can edit the data and also view, or they can view only without having the ability to edit any of the data here. Okay, when you select none, it means that this tab will not be appearing when this person log in using his or her email address. Okay, this is by operator, but when you choose administrator, everything will be enabled, meaning that she has full view for all of these tabs. Okay, only in the operator tab you can select which are the things that you want to allow him or her to view. Okay, so this is the way to add admin. Okay, so for terminal backup, usually when you download the data to TimeTec, the data will still be in the terminal. So it is not like TCMS, once download the data will be deleted. In TimeTec, once the data is downloaded, it will still have data in the terminal. Okay, so you do not need to purposely back up the data in the terminal. Okay, so meaning that you do not, the data will not be deleted. So don't worry about that. You can just download the data and the data remains in both the terminal and also the software. Okay, so this is for users tab. Next, we will look at the schedule tab. Okay, so the schedule is similar to all our software. We have 3 types of schedule, which is the weekly, daily, and also the flexi schedule. Okay, so I'll show you briefly one by one. So this is the office hours tab. It looks almost similar to TCMS, but the difference is in TimeTec you have 14 columns instead of 6 columns. Okay, so let's say you have break 1, you have break 2. You can name the column yourself in TimeTec. Unlike other software, you cannot rename it. Okay, so let's say you have 5 breaks in a day. You can use TimeTec to set the timing. Okay, so let's say if you only have a normal in, 1 break, and then out, you can just leave it like that. Okay, it doesn't matter you use this column as break or this column as break. As long as you name the column, it will take that column into account. Okay, so let me edit this. Okay, so I'll just put my work time as 9 a.m. Easier to calculate later on. And then my break at 12 p.m. until 1 p.m. And then I'll finish work at 6 p.m. Okay, so once you click save here, if you want the remaining line at the bottom to follow this setting, you will just need to click on the plus sign here. So the plus sign means that you will copy the line above it. So you don't have to key in one by one all over again. Also in TimeTec, let's say if you're stuck in this tab and you don't know what to set, you can always go to Guide Me. Okay, so this is an interactive Guide Me that we have added on. It will guide you step by step on how to set the clocking schedule and also some explanation. Okay, let's say you are in a rush and you do not have time to go through all this written article. You can always watch the video guide. Okay, you just need to plug in the earphone and listen to the guide. So you don't have to read it. So sometimes reading is boring, so you can watch the video. Okay, so this is the video. Okay, and also we have added the hint. So when you move your mouse cursor over to the hint, it will tell you what is this tab about. Okay, for example, round to nearest minute. This determines the time given if your company allows rounding of the clocking in and clocking out. Okay, for example, I'll just put 15 minutes and I can choose it to round up, round down, or round midpoint. If I choose to round up, okay, if I enter at 9:07, 9:08, my time will be rounded to 9:15. So this is just to make sure that the attendance looks nice and easier to calculate. And if I select down, when I clock in at 9:08 a.m., my timing will be round down to 9 a.m. Okay, if I choose midpoint of 15 minutes is about 7.5 minutes, which means that if I clock in before 9:08, my time will be round down to 9 a.m. But if I choose to log in after 9:08 a.m., my time will be rounded up to 9:15. So this is how rounding works. If you don't need it, just leave it blank. No issue with leaving it blank. Okay. Deduct late in time or early out time from work time if more than. Okay. So it simply means that do your company deduct the minutes taken from late in time or early out time from the employee's total work time? Simply means tolerance. Okay. Means that you will allow tolerance for the login time, meaning that from 9 to 9:15, I can still key in or punch in my credentials, but in my attendance, my attendance will still be in black color, which means that I am still on time. But after 9:15, if you log in at 9:16, your attendance will show as red color, which means that you are late. Okay. This simply means tolerance that you allow for each employee to clock in. Okay. Break time duration for flexi break range in minutes. So this is for organization, which you need to have someone in the office during lunchtime. Okay. What you can do is you can put a flexi range for them. So I'll just put 60 minutes. But in the break column, you will need to put a longer period. Let's say, for example, I'll put 12 to 4 p.m. Okay, this means that the staff can go on rotational break, but for the duration of 60 minutes each time. So they can go out at 12:45, they can go out at 1:15, they can go out at 1:20. It doesn't matter as long as they are back before 4 p.m. and also they only go out for the duration of 60 minutes. Okay. So let's say if you go for break at 3:30 p.m., you must come back before 4 p.m. even though you have set 60 minutes, but the time here is until 4. Okay, so this is how flexi break works. Okay, so just remove this. Deduct actual break time from work time. So if your company wants to deduct the break time, which is 1 hour, from the total work time, then you just tick this as yes, meaning that 9 to 6 is 9 hours, but you have 1 hour break, 1 hour deducted from 9 hours, your total work time will be shown as 8 hours. Okay, so this is working schedule page. Let's look at range. Range means that for the system to define which tab the time will fall into. So you can determine the presentation of the clocking data into corresponding time slots. Okay, this is only applicable for weekly and daily schedules. By default, if you leave this page empty, it will take the midpoint of 2 time slots. For example, the in time is 9 a.m. and the break time is 12 p.m. So the midpoint of these 2 timing is 10:30 a.m. Meaning that if anybody clocks in before 10:30 a.m., the time will fall into the in column. And any clock in after 10:30 a.m. will fall into the break column. So this is what range means. Replace with the latest clocking. You can configure the clocking schedule to update clocking data for every time slots. The clocking data in time slots is always replaced with the latest clocking time after the download process. So this is only recommended for out and done columns only. The software will always check the latest out time of the users and publish them in the attendance sheet. So for example, you have clocked out at 6 p.m., but you forget to send a very important email. And you come back to the office, you send the email, and you leave finally at 6:45 p.m. So when this is selected, instead of 6 p.m., your out time will be shown as 6:45 p.m. It will keep on replacing the latest clocking time. Okay. Next is the General tab. This option forces employees to press the relevant key button at the device during attendance reporting. So in all our terminals, there are each buttons that represent different attendance status such as check-in, break-in, break-out, resume to work, and done. So when you select this option will override the schedule defined under the clocking schedule. It doesn't matter what time you set here. If you have selected this, you will have to key in the status at the terminal before you punch in. Okay, so this you must be very careful. If let's say you're going for break but you select that as check-in and you punch your credentials, your time for break will be actually shown as in time. Okay, so this you have to be very careful when selecting the status on the terminal. Okay, if you do not need this, uncheck it. Okay, rounding. This is rounding of the total work time. Previously, this is the rounding by column, but this is rounding by the total work time. So you can round up the total work time and also the total OT time. Same thing, if you set 15 minutes here, and then you can round up, round down, or round point. Let's say you have a total work hours of 8 hours and 15 minutes. If you choose up, your time will be rounded up to 8 hours and 30 minutes. If you choose to round down, your total work hours will be 8 hours. Okay, same goes to the round up the OT to the nearest minutes. Same step applicable. First rounding time range, you can select the starting time to apply the rule and the amount of minutes to be rounded to. Meaning that if I put 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., regardless of any time I punch in within this hour, my attendance time will be shown as 9:30 a.m. Okay, so regardless any time, 9:17, 9:45, 9:50 I key in, my time will be shown as 9:30 a.m. Same goes to the last rounding time range. You can set it as the out time as well. Let's say between 18 and 19, my hours will be shown as 18:30. Okay, so this is for the out time and the previous one is for the in time. Next, let's look at the break column. Do not deduct any lunch time if employee works half day only. You can deduct or exclude all the break time from attendance calculation by setting up the options here. Okay, so a check on this will not deduct the lunch time for employees who is taking half day, meaning that they are already on half day and you do not want to deduct their break time anymore. So you just tick as compulsory. Do you want to add auto add break rule when you include lunch or dinner break? Tick the checker if you want to apply the rule. This means that the remaining lunch or dinner time will be added into the work time. For example, your break is from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Okay, but you have only utilized 20 minutes of your break time. So you have remaining of 40 minutes. So you can add 40 minutes into your total work hour, which means that you can go back 40 minutes earlier, or you can add the 40 minutes into your overtime hour. Means that you have 40 minutes of overtime. Okay, if this is not applicable, leave it empty. Do not select anything here. Okay, deduct number of hours for break time from overtime hour. So if your employee is taking OT, you can tick this and then you can select this option if you want to deduct their break time from the total work time and determine the maximum overtime hours taken before the rule applies. Okay, so this is how you set for the break. And then the last tab is the overtime tab. This is to determine the rules for overtime in the weekly clocking schedule you define here. First one, define early login as OT. So activate this and the system will capture any early in time as overtime. For example, if you come to work at 8:30 a.m., you're in 30 minutes earlier, and you can add the 30 minutes into the overtime hour. Okay, if this is not selected, nothing will be added to the overtime hour. Define time in and out to treat as special OT. Depending on the company, you can allow the employee to claim a different overtime claim after a certain duration. Okay, so for example, if this employee works from 9 to 11 p.m., you can key in the time here, which means you key in 21 to 23, and then in the attendance sheet, you will see a column which says differential OT, and you will calculate the total hour, and you can put into the payroll or calculate his wages accordingly. Minimum minutes to work to claim OT. Sometimes a staff will work a few minutes and consider it as OT. So you can define the minimum minutes required by an employee to be entitled for overtime claim before they are allowed to claim that as overtime. The system will not consider any overtime if the extra time is less than the predefined value here. For example, if you set here 60 minutes, the system will check for extra time done by all employees. Okay, so your out time is at 6 p.m. Let's say if you work until 6:30 p.m., you will not be eligible for overtime because you have not worked the minimum of 60 minutes yet. So you work until 7 p.m., you are entitled for 1 hour of OT claim. Okay, maximum hours to work to claim OT. By default, our system can go up to a maximum of 24 hours OT, and this is where you can control the overtime claim by each employee. For example, you only want to allow 4 hours of overtime claim every day for employees, so you just key in 4 hours here. So regardless of whether he worked until 5 hours of overtime, 6 hours of overtime, in this attendance sheet, it will show you the maximum of 4 hours of overtime. Okay, because you have already set here as 4 hours. Deduct work shortage from OT. There are cases where an employee has short time in his or her total work hour, meaning that they come late to work or they come back late after a break. So if they have short time in their total work hour, you can deduct their short time from the overtime first before calculating the final overtime hours. For example, you have a short time of 30 minutes, but you have a 3 hours of overtime. So you will be deducting 30 minutes from the overtime, and your final overtime will be 2 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, so this is for weekly schedule. Let's look at the next schedule, which is the daily schedule. So daily schedule is applicable for daily basis schedule, which means shift. This is suitable for multiple shift, overnight shift, open shift, rotational shift, and etc., where the work schedule changes every day. Okay, so the difference here is you do not see Monday to Sundays. You only have one row of timing. Okay, so I will just show you the example of morning shift. Let me define morning shift as start at 6 a.m. I have my break at 10 a.m. until 11, and I finish work at 3 p.m. Okay, so only one row of timing for daily schedule. The rest of the explanation, the tab, are similar to the weekly schedule. Okay, nothing is different, everything is same except for the front page, the clocking schedule. Okay, submit this. So this is for morning shift. I'll show you another one which is a night shift. So same thing, you will just need to key in the night time. Okay, for example, I'll start work from 3 p.m., continue from the morning shift. Okay, and I only have one break. I have my break at about, let's say 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. and then I finish off my work at 12 a.m. Okay, so this is for night shift, morning shift and night shift. So the last schedule that I want to show you is the flexi schedule. So in the flexi schedule, basically you don't have to set any timing because flexi schedule you do not know the pattern of their working pattern. Okay, so basically for flexi, we just leave it as empty. Mr. Tanwe, question from you?
Yes, ma'am. If we have two shifts,
My one shift start from the 8 and then it will finish on 6. And second shift start from the 6 and finish after the 12, 2 a.m.
Okay.
How we will manage it?
Same thing. You will just need to key in at the tab. So let me show you. Okay, so your morning shift starts from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. So you just need to key in the timing here. Okay, so 8
But
a.m.
another thing, we haven't the fixed duty.
Meaning that?
Shift timing is fixed, but
your time is fixed, but you mean the person that is on the shift is not fixed, or how?
yes, yes.
That you have to configure at the group duty roster, which I haven't gone to that part yet because we are still at the clocking schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll explain on that later on. Would that be okay?
It's applicable on Flexi?
You mean for the different timing?
Yes.
You can set the
Different timing and different. Okay.
If your time is fixed, so you can use a daily instead of flexi, because flexi is for those that is does not have a fixed timing.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so this is for let's go to flexi schedule. Yes, Mr. Purushothaman, question?
Yeah, actually I have a question in Flexi minutes because, for example, if you choose the Flexi,
Okay.
how do you calculate the office hours? Because the office hours is 8 hours, okay? So they can come at any time and they can go at any time. So how do you fix the timings in this?
But they are working for 8 hours.
Because, yeah, so I want to fix that.
I haven't started on flexi, so I'll explain when I talk about the flexi schedule.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Mr. Ankur Patel, question?
Yeah, can you just share us more about the flexi shift, because we are facing a lot of problem in the flexi shift.
Yes, I haven't
as my colleague told that.
Okay, sorry.
That sometime a person came in the morning and then he goes next day, so he worked more than 24 hours. So there are sometimes lot of timing issues are coming. Yeah.
Okay, so let me go to the flexi schedule because I haven't started anything on flexi schedule yet. So let's listen to the flexi schedule and to see whether it answers your question or not. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so let us continue with the flexi schedule. So for the flexi schedule, basically, like you say, you have 8 hours of working time, but you do not have a fixed time. It's okay. What you need to do first thing is to set the day type. Okay, so the day type is whether it's a work day or the off day. So let me put Sunday as a rest day, but Monday to Friday is a work day. So first you have to define the day type. So for flexi schedule, normally you just want to control the in and the out time. Okay, so let me copy this. Okay, so this to set the day type in and out. So you don't put any timing for in and out because you do not know what time they come to work, what time they go back to work. Okay, the rest of the settings at the bottom here is the same. Okay, so clocking in out pairs in use, it means that whether you want to use more than one column or not. So in this case, I only want to use in and the out column. Okay, so the rest of the thing is the same. Then let's go to general. So this is the part where you were asking question from few of you just now. How to control whether they are working 8 hours but they pass midnight and so on. Okay, so let's talk one by one here. Enable disable employee defined work code for job costing records. This option requires users to enter their work code to specify their job tasks. For example, an employee starts to work in production from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay, the employee must insert the work code that represents production when he reports to start and end his work. The system captures his records and calculate work time that he has done for this job. He can work several different jobs in a day, and all records will be reflected in attendance sheet line by line. So this is job costing, which means that a person can work in different departments in a day with different wages. So you use job costing to control it. Okay. Maximum work hours to be considered as the same work day. So by default, all clocking activities will cut off at midnight to be considered as the same day clocking. If the company wants to extend the cut-off time past midnight, you can key in the total working time to be considered as the same day clocking. I'll give you an example of a security guard. A night shift security guard reports to work at 11 p.m. and the shift will end next morning at 7 a.m. So you can set here as 8 hours under this option so that the system reflects the out time into the out column as today's out time. So meaning that for your case just now, you can set here as total of 8 hours. It does not matter what time they come in, what time they go out, but if they work for the duration of 8 hours, it will still be considered as the same work day. I can come to work at about 6 p.m. in the evening. So I can go back at about 2 a.m. in the morning. That is about 8 hours. And my attendance will still be in the same day. It will not drop to the next day. So this is how you control it for the flexi schedule. Separation hours between an out clocking and subsequent in clocking to qualify for the next day. Based on this rule above, you need to specify the duration in between a clock out and clock in to qualify an employee for the next payday. The duration specified here will determine the duration of rest required before the same employee could clock into work and qualify for the next work day. Take back the example of the security guard. The security guard checks out this morning at 7 a.m. So he will report back to work again by tonight 11 p.m. So you need to consider the 11 p.m. record as today in time instead of 7 a.m. So you must set here as 16 hours under this option. The system will know he finished the previous shift at the morning 7 a.m. and after 16 hours, which is 11 p.m., he will report for today's job. Okay, so this is basically like the rest time that he needs before he comes back to work on the same day. Last logout time to consider as the same work day. So this is recommended for the last logout time after 12 a.m. So it works similar to this option, but instead of total hours, you can put the last logout time for them. Meaning that if you put 4 a.m., any clock out before 4 a.m. will still be considered as the same day. It will not drop into the next day in time. Okay, so this is how you control for flexi schedule. Double punch for consecutive clocking in a clocking slot. For flexi schedule, every punch in will take up one column. So let's say you come to work at 8 a.m. and then you left something in the car, you go out at 8:30, you will fall into a new column. And then you come into the company at about 8:35, and then you go out for a smoke at 8:45, and then you will keep on falling into a new column each time you clock in or clock out. To control that, you can choose this option, double punch for consecutive clocking. So when you set the minutes of, let's say I put 30 minutes here, after you clock in the first time at 8 a.m., regardless of how many times you clock in, thousands or millions of times, it will still take your first clock in time as 8 a.m. until it reaches 8:30 when you clock out, and it will fall to a new column after 30 minutes. Okay, so within 30 minutes, if you punch many hundred times, millions of times, it will still consider only one clock in. Okay, so this is for the general rule. Rounding, break, and overtime is similar to weekly and also daily schedule. So few of the questions that comes in just now is at the setting here, general. How to control if they work 8 hours? So you just set it here. Maximum work hours to be considered as the same work day. You can put 8 hours. You can put more, 9 hours. Okay. This is the time for break before they come into work on the same day. And this is by a timing instead of putting the hours. Okay. So this is flexi schedule. Okay. Once you have set all the clocking schedule, next step is to configure the group duty roster. This refers to the working calendar for the whole year. Okay, go to schedule, select group duty roster. There are a total of 1,000 groups to support your working environment. It means that you can set 1,000 group maximum in the group duty roster. Okay, you can link up the schedules which you have created into specific group. You can assign the employees with same working schedules or rules into the same group so system can calculate the attendance accordingly. Okay, so you just need to go to add, put in the group number, which is your clocking schedule number, and then click submit. If the number that you key in here is not created in the clocking schedule, you will not be able to get the duty roster in this way. Okay? So this is how it looks like. If it's a weekly schedule, basically the whole year you'll be using the same schedule. The orange here means that it is a rest day or off day, and the light blue is holiday. When you bring your cursor to the date, you will see what type of holiday is on that day. So you just can see Labor Day, Vesak Day, Thaipusam, these are all Malaysian holiday. Okay, so this is how you set for weekly. Let's look at the shift. So I'll just show you shift. Select here to shift. Then when you click at the auto here, it means that the auto schedule assistant. For shift, you will need to know the pattern of their working environment. Okay. So let me show you the example that we have set. Okay, so in the auto schedule, you can actually set their pattern of working. For example, I'll put 4 days of morning shift, 1 day rest, and then 4 days of afternoon shift. Okay, so you can set that as the schedule here. Morning shift, 4 days of morning shift. And then I'll have 1 day rest. Then I'll go to afternoon shift, sorry, night shift. So you will need to key in only one cycle if it's repetitive, meaning that after the evening shift, you will go back to the morning shift. You will just need to key in one complete cycle. Then the system will automatically repeat back the cycle every time. Question, Mr. Bobby? Mr. Bobby, can you hear me? Mr. Bobby, got question? Okay, let us proceed. So in shift, you can set up to a maximum of 3 shifts a day. And then same thing, go to the auto schedule and set the schedule for them. Okay, so I cannot show you because it is not really working. Sorry about that. Let me look for another one. So for shift, again, you will need to know the pattern of the shift before they change, which is the day type, workday and then set the schedule for them, and then it will appear in this page on the scheduling. Okay, so this is a test account. There's something wrong with the scheduling. So what I'm telling you is to set the schedule pattern, and then you will see it appearing on the schedule accordingly. Okay, so if let's say you have to change a shift with someone else, you can go to the particular date, click on the date, and then choose the correct schedule that you want to change it to. Okay, so I can change this to the night shift, submit, and the day selected will be changed to night shift, like that. Okay, so this is manual changing. Let's say if you have, we have this user duty planner, which means that this is a group duty roster for individual, meaning that this individual will not follow the group duty roster of other groups. Okay, so when you go to group duty planner, user duty planner, you will see that all the users will appear in this page. Okay, select any of the user and you can plan his or her holiday from this page. Okay, so you can change the schedule, click on the date, change the schedule of this user, and set a new schedule for them, or you can apply holiday for this user as well. Okay, so this is user duty planner. This is for individual, and also to set the leave for each user. Okay, so we will go to company holiday. You can create a list of public holidays into the system. The system will auto-generate and mark the specific date as holidays in different colors. This page will give you an overview of holidays that the company adheres to. In case the company wants to shut down for a few days, for example, for the company annual trip, and every employee is forced to take annual leave for this event, you can set it in this page as well. Okay, so let's say you point to this day, you will be prompted for to key in the holiday. So I'll put in annual leave. Okay, then I'll choose until 13. So you will see that this 4 days is annual leave for all users. Okay, in any case that you're forced to go on leave due to the maybe company trip or the factory is shut down for a few days, so you can set it this way. Okay. So next we will go to managing attendance. Attendance sheet displays all the attendance data as well as the detailed information of each employee in TimeTec. Okay, the system will publish the first in and last out time as basic reference. You can see the work time, total work time, the overtime, and also the short hour calculated for each individual. In attendance sheet, you are allowed to view the attendance records based on the settings you have set. So in this page as well, you can also filter the attendance, which date you want to view, which ID attendance you want to view, and also by the day type. Okay, if you are the admin, you can click edit here and change the timing of the clock-ins. Okay, so let's say for example, I'll change it to in at 9 a.m. break. Okay, and then I can set all this, then remember to save it. So if you are the admin, you're allowed to change the attendance. Once you change it again, it will show in bold color, meaning that this data has been changed by the admin. Okay, so you can change it, the in-out records, work time, overtime, and short time. However, any changes made here will be displayed in bold fonts. And you can also assign a leave to an employee who is absent from work at the leave column. Okay, so you can click edit and then you can put this as emergency leave, or you can also put remark. Okay, for example, this is the way to set it. Okay, you can export the attendance data from TimeTec to payroll software or HR system integration if you have defined the arrangement and length of each data fields. So there are two types of export, which is the detail scheme and also the summary scheme page. So click any of it before you start to export the attendance, you must ensure that you have already created the template format. Means that you can arrange your own position of any data here that you want. So for example, I want number 1 as my name. Second column is my employment ID. Third column is my branch, and so on. So this is the size of each of the field. Okay. So you can scroll down, and these are all the data that you can export out. Okay, once you have done it, save the page, and you will be prompted to proceed to export your attendance. Okay, so which date of attendance you want to export from which brand and for which user ID. Okay, so just select one user or many users, depends, and you can choose to export detail or export the summary of the attendance data. Okay, system will display the result before it exports the file. Data can be exported into XLS format, CSV format, and also text format. So it will show you all the data here, the in and the out time, before you can select which type of format that you want to export the files to. Okay. In Reports tab, you can generate and view the various type of reports on this page to see which suits your preference. Okay, so you can go to sample reports here to see all the list of available reports in TimeTec. So it's still loading. Okay. So this is with explanation, detailed explanation of each and every report that you can generate from this software. Okay. So the system provides flexibility to print the reports or save it to other digital formats, which are PDF, document, Excel, XLR, or RTF format. Okay, so click on which of the reports that you want. Select which user that you want to download, the date range, and then you can click submit. So it will generate your report here. Okay, you will still generate the report, and then after the report is generated, you can save into any of the files mentioned earlier to your preference. Okay, so this is the Reports tab. In the My Profile tab, okay, let's wait for the loading. Okay, in the My Profile tab, you can choose to change password. So let's say you don't want to use this password anymore, you want to change it to password, you can do it in the My Profile tab. And also in this page, you can read more about TimeTec Mobile. Okay, the Guide Me for TimeTec Mobile is in this page. You can download the app on your phone to try it out. Okay, so this is the Guide Me for TimeTec Mobile, meaning that for TimeTec Mobile, you can punch in your attendance via your mobile phone. You don't have to go to the terminal. For example, you're out of the office, but your boss still wants you to report your attendance. So you can do it using your mobile, or you can do it using the web punch. So let me show you how web punch looks like. So both of this works without the needs of using a physical terminal, meaning that you can use web punch as long as you have the internet connection to punch in your attendance. Okay. For example, if I were to work from home, I do not have the terminal at my house, I can use web punch, or I can use mobile to punch in my attendance. So this is how web punch looks like. All you need to do is to click web punch and then key in your password that you use to log into this software. If you have word code, you can choose word code and then click web punch. So if your password is correct, when you click web punch, your time will be recorded here. Okay, so this time will be in the data audit list, which will also appear in your attendance record. Whereas when you use TimeTec Mobile, when you punch in, okay, when you punch in at the terminal, your data will still return to the data audit list, but with the extra of location. Okay, if you're using a mobile, the data comes in, you will be able to see the location of where this employee is scanning the attendance from. Okay, so this is the privilege of using mobile and also web punch without the need of a physical terminal. Okay, the last part of this software is My Library. In this step, you can store the company's file in digital format in your TimeTec Cloud account for employees to log in and download these files and documents easily. These files can either be forms, guidance, or reference. Okay, to manage the files properly, you can create different folders to store the files and documents, which we have here. This will also save the hassle for employees as they can easily find what they are looking for. However, the system will also provide restrictions by branch of company in order to limit the access of employees to the specific files or documents. Okay, to grant permission to employees from different branch, select the folder, go to set permission, and then from here you can choose which branch is allowed to log in to get the files from your page. Okay, so with this chapter I have actually completed the whole training for TimeTec, but let me try to open the TCMS to show you how to back up from TCMS to migrate over to TimeTec. Okay, system is a bit slow, so it's a bit hard. Yes, Mr. Purushothaman, question?
Hi.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question in web punch because you know
For the web punch,
there
you
could
mean?
be like some misuse in this because
Yes, as long
yeah,
as they
web
have your
punch,
password.
because if you're using web punch, they can just log in from
Yes.
they can just inform their friend whoever is outside. Okay, they can just inform them, okay, just log into this and punch it. So it can be misused, right? Misused.
Yes, correct. If the password is
So is there any way to control it?
so far we do not have any control on that, but if the password is passed to other people using web punch, they are able to log in. So this is not foolproof yet, but for TimeTec Mobile, they will not be able to punch in unless they have your mobile, meaning that if they have this application on their mobile phone and they want to log in, it will not be able to log in because every mobile has a unique ID. So for example, your mobile is to your username, okay? And your colleague has another app, but you cannot punch in from your colleague's phone. You will need to only punch in from your own phone.
Okay. So, but is there any control for the laptop or the PCs? No, only for the mobiles you have a control.
Yes, only for the mobile you have a bit of control, but web punch, yes, because if the web punch they pass the password around, it's very dangerous as well because if they have the admin password, they can change all the settings in the software. So it is advisable not to pass the password to anyone.
Okay, sure, thank you.
So I have a little bit of difficulty to turn on my TCMS, but in TCMS software, under the backup and restore function, below that there is another function which say backup to TimeTec folder. So in order to migrate to TimeTec, you will need to use the backup, not the original zip folder, but another backup using a TimeTec backup, because in TimeTec backup you will have a key generated before you can proceed to migrate over to this software. Okay, so when you get the folder, you just go to the migration wizard and then browse for the file. Once you have browsed the file, just click upload and the file will be uploaded to this software, including the clocking schedule, the user data, group duty roster, and also the current year transaction log. Yes, Mr. Purushothaman? Any more questions?
Okay, actually I have yeah. Is there any backup option like for auto backup to get the user data?
For TimeTec, it's actually auto backup in the back end. You can download SQL York because this is using MySQL database. So the backup is actually done at the back end. Meaning that you do not have...
initially you have said that, yeah, you said, if they have done, for example, like, clear backup, so you said, you cannot recover.
Sorry, come again?
Because in the clear terminal data, there is no...
Yeah.
There is option to clear terminal data, because you said, if you clear terminal data, you said, okay, if you don't have a backup, you cannot recover it.
Yes,
so
but
in this case, you're saying like there is auto backup and this.
No, but for TimeTec, because it is live, meaning that each punch will come in straight to the to the software. Then if every data is back to the software, when you clear terminal data, your backup is in the software.
Okay.
Because the data is live, once you punch, it will return back to the software immediately. Unless you have a communication breakdown, then that is where the data will not return back to the software.
Okay.
So if the connection is good, the data will return almost immediately, live, and then the backup is always at the MySQL. You can use the MySQL. We use this SQL York to read the MySQL database. From here, you can back up the database manually. Okay, so let me just show you a bit of this, how it looks like. Okay, so in this page, you will be able to see the TimeTec. I do not have the TimeTec here. So this is how it looks like. So all you need to do is come to this page, select the TimeTec table, and then back up. So once you back up this, you have a backup on your desktop, then you are okay. But don't worry, because TimeTec is live again, everything will be backed up to the software.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, welcome. Okay, so again, you can migrate the data from TCNS, so you don't have to recreate the clocking schedule. You do not have to recreate the group duty roster. So you can use the migration wizard over to the TimeTec software. Okay. Again, in TimeTec, we make it interactive such that if you're stuck in any of the tabs, you can click Guide Me, and the Guide Me will actually teach you what to do and where to go and what to click. Okay, just in case you're stuck, let's say for the admin page, you don't know how to add it on, so you can just go to the Guide Me and then read it from here, and you will know how to add the admin to the page. Okay, so with this chapter, I have completed the webinar session for today. So we have included the Guide Me and video guide in each tab. So you can always try out the TimeTec Cloud software. Click the register as reseller or user sign up if you're end user to try out the software for 1 month. Okay, so if you like it, then you can contact us for further inquiry on how the sales is like, how much is it for each of the licenses. And if you have any technical question that you are stuck in any of the tabs, you can always contact us at support@fingertec.com. You can always email us there to ask how does this function work, I'm stuck, and anything. We will get back to you immediately. Okay, so after this class, I will send you the video link to today's class and also the examination link to test how far you understand from today's class. Okay, feel free to take the exam to test your knowledge on this software, and feel free to contact us if you have any further questions. Okay, Mr. Puru, you still have another question?
Okay, if you have anything, just let me just go through this. No.
No? Okay. Mr. Tanvir, question from you?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I am using TimeTec on mobile.
Okay.
Okay, I have 2 mobiles. In my one mobile, I have the Android version is 4.2, and another mobile I have 5 point something Android. But its TimeTec Cloud is working on 4.2.
The 5 point something
but it's
is
not working on 5.0.
Not working as in you cannot log in or you cannot punch.
No, actually, when I cannot log in. When I choose the server, it's connecting. But after this, suddenly the application is closed.
Oh, it's a crash. So for that, you need to email us at support@fingertec.com so that our support team will be able to look into this bug. Because so far we have tested until you're talking about iOS, yes? Android or iOS?
Sorry?
You're talking about Android or
Android.
iOS? Android. So if you can, please report
Android,
this bug to us so that we can look into it, because we have tested it until, I'm not sure until which version our team has tested.
Okay.
Okay, so
Thank
please
you.
email us so that we can rectify the error for you. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Allen, any question from you?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, yeah, I can hear you.
Just want to ask if you can. Yes, if you can migrate from Ingress to English software to TimeTec?
So far, not yet. Only
Database?
TMS to TimeTec. Ingress to TimeTec, not ready yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
Thanks.
you. So, any further questions? Mr. Puru, any questions?
No.
Okay. So, if no question, I'll end the class
So
today.
actually, I have.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Actually, I have said there is a activation code. For
Okay.
example, if I buy a terminal, 10 terminals, okay, each device will have a different license.
Correct. All devices will have
Activation code.
different activation code.
You have said like there is one permanent and there is one more like is it comes with 1 year
No,
like every year renewal or something like that?
If you have already purchased TimeTec, the license of the terminal is permanent, is one time. But if you choose to apply for a trial testing account, we will give you a trial code, which is like for 3 months for the terminal and 1 month for the software. The software is 1 month trial, the terminal is 3 months. So once you purchase, you will have a permanent key. It's one-time activation. You don't have to do it every year.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Welcome. Mr. Sanchez, question from you?
I'm Juliana. One other thing.
Yeah.
If my devices are cut in the network, from the internet, then restored back, will the TimeTec automatically upload the logs?
When your connection is broken and then the connection is back, you will need to initiate the download because it will not automatically connect the data. Meaning that once it's connected, when you punch after the connection is okay, the data will come back. But when you punch during the connection is off, the data will not come back automatically. You will have to initiate the download again.
You have to manually do it.
Yes, for the one that you punch in during the communication loss.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
So I'll end the class today, and I'll send you the recording of the today's webinar, and together with the exam link. So have a nice day. Take the exam, and you can review back the video. Okay. Thank you very much for your attendance today. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you.